Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ted Santos, and I am your host. I'm your host of YouTube and Chill, and it's Friday night, and we chill on Friday on YouTube. And tonight, like all YouTube and chills, we love to talk about sex. We love to talk about intimacy, and this is going to be a full throttle conversation about sex and intimacy. So you want to stop what you're doing and come join us, because we have something for you tonight. Something that I think you're going to enjoy. We're going to be talking about sex all out, like laying it all on the line. Talking about younger women and older women. And I'm even going to do some screen sharing with you. We're going to hear what the word is on the street, and we're going to watch it, an interesting pattern develop when we listen to what men say when they're looking at the difference between older women and younger women. Very interesting. I'll share my thoughts, but we're gonna ease into it, you know? I'm not gonna jump right into it. I want to get into it first. We're gonna sort of slide in, and we're talking about who's better in bed, who's the better lover, older women, younger women. I think this can be a great debate. Would love to have young women and older women join us in this discussion. Love to hear why older women think they actually have it going on. And I know the younger women are not going to just lay down and play dead, because they have the vibrance and the energy and all those other things going on. So we're going to talk about older women, younger women, and we're going to get into it sexually. And listen, I understand when you talk about older and younger, it's relative. When you're 19, a 27-year-old woman is older. When you're 25, she's not. So whatever's older for you, wherever you are, if you're a 70-year-old guy, older is, man, that's that might be an easier one when you get up beyond a certain age. What's older and what's younger, and who's better? 70-year-old guy with an older woman, right? So, but we're not going to be dancing on that side of the fence. That's a little bit too far up the age ladder. But we're going to be talking about older women, younger women. And of course, that means we're going to have older men and younger men engaged in this conversation, talking about their preferences, right? Everyone has preferences. And it doesn't take you 10 years to figure it out. What's going on, Scope Bay? Good to see you in the house. That's what I'm hearing. That a lot of guys are saying that's one of the concerns. Older women don't bring the energy. What's going on, Sudata? Good to see you in the house, man. Well, I had some thoughts about this, right? So, you could have more than one topic, and it gets the point across. Who's better in bed, older or younger women? Who's a better lover? So here were some of my thoughts. While older or younger will be relative, like I just said, there's an age-old debate about who makes the better lover. There are rumors that older women are more patient, less inhibited, and know their bodies better than when they were younger. On the other hand, younger women are more energetic, passionate, and willing to learn. At the same time, now I'm going to pull out some facts. You guys know I like to pull out facts. 80%, approximately 80% of women say they are unable to climax during sexual intercourse. For many of those women, they have mental blocks, which cause them to be inhibited during sex. In other cases, the woman doesn't know her body as well as she needs to. Another factor is sexual trauma. Since the majority, 80%, majority of women are having problems with sex, getting older doesn't seem to be the solution. However, if we only factor in that 20% of women who are comfortable with their bodies, their sexuality, and they can climax, maybe it's a toss-up. So we're going to explore. We're going to dig and do a little research. And yeah, maybe, hey, PJ, maybe there is something around promiscuity. Hey, Scobe, that's poetically stated. Youthful energy can't be duplicated. Either you have it or you don't. So, Sean Hensley, good to see you in the house. Yeah, you know, and it's interesting to see you guys coming up. So I want to hear everyone's thought, right? So it depends on her promiscuity. That probably plays a factor. So guys, as you come in, smash that like button, that thumbs up. You see, smash it so that YouTube can catch us in the algorithms. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, this is a perfect time to hit the subscribe button, smash the bell so you'll get notifications whenever I have something coming up. And this is what you would call a probably not the most politically correct conversation, probably not a conversation that many men or people have. So I'm Ted Santos, and you guys know me for YouTube and Chill. And tonight we are going to chill. We're on YouTube, and we're going to sit back and chill. On Friday nights, we like to talk about sex and intimacy. And tonight we're really getting into intimacy. We're going to dig right and dive right into that sex talk. And we're talking about who's the better lover, older women or younger women. So like, subscribe, and share this. I really would love to see a couple of older and younger women, like older women 35 and up, younger, 34 and down, 32 and down. Maybe there's this gray area between 33 and 34. They get to play on either side of the fence, depends on who they're with. Women have energy but no experience. Remember, what's going on, country boy? Good to see you in the house. PJ. The only difference is younger women gives men's dick the salute, whereas older women will need some skills to get men in the mood. Wow. Ouch. Ouch. Come on now. There's got to be some hot women who are over 40 and can walk into the room and get a full salute. See you guys coming in Instagram. Good to see you in the house. Sally Hovicharun. I assume Latino. maybe. So I'm going to, one of my concerns is, so here's a concern I have. So if we say that older women are more experienced, they might be more patient, they may supposedly understand intimacy a little better. But the challenge is, if 80% of women cannot climax, that negates like this whole idea that she knows her body better. I mean, a lot of what gets in the way of women being able to have a climax is because she's got mental barriers. Psychologically, her attitude towards sex, like there are all kinds of things. And these are not my opinions. In fact, I'll do a screen share with you and lay some stuff out. There's clinically they talk about this stuff. There's some research and things, they look at the symptoms and the problems that women have. So if a woman is older and still hasn't been able to reach a climax, and she's been doing that since whatever, if she started having sex at 18, let's say from 18 to 35 to 45, she may not be getting the most out of sex. And hell, and I don't want this conversation to be about feminism, but the feminists told women that men are subjugating you. And so that created a whole negative mindset women had towards sex. So that only makes it worse. So let's do a screen share here. Let's look at, they have an actual term for this. And then we're going to go to the street and look at what men are saying they prefer. So if you're a woman, regardless of your age, we're going to talk about this regardless of age. And I'm taking this from a very, very reputable institution, the Mayo Clinic, very prestigious, highly credentialed people who work there in the field of medicine, healthcare. And they say, they call this anorgasmia in women. So anorgasmia, if I'm saying this correctly, is a medical term for regular difficulty reaching orgasm after ample sexual stimulation. The lack of orgasms distresses you or interferes with your relationship with your partner. So that's the opening for this in the overview. And they make it clear, after ample sexual stimulation and you're still having a problem coming to a climax. Orgasms vary intensely, and women vary in the frequency of their orgasms and the amount of stimulation needed to trigger an orgasm. Most women require some degree of direct or indirect clitoral stimulation and don't climax from penetration alone. Plus, orgasms often change with age, medical issues, or medications you're taking. If you're happy with the climax of your sexual activities, there's no need for concern. However, if you're bothered by the lack of orgasms and your intensity of your orgasms, talk to your doctor, right? So here are some symptoms. This is interesting. We're going to have the medical world talk about kind of what's an orgasm. An orgasm is a feeling of intense physical pleasure and release of tension, accompanied by involuntary rhythmic contractions of your pelvic muscles. Man, this is a good Friday night conversation. We're talking about involuntary rhythmic contractions of a woman's pelvic floor muscles. I mean, come on. I guess it doesn't matter what age she is. If she's got that rhythmic contractions of her pelvic floor muscles, when she's under you and you can feel her body starting to go through these kind of convulsions and those contractions, that's pretty hot. And they say, but it doesn't always look or sound like in the movies or in porn, right? The way an orgasm feels varies among women and an individual. And in an individual, it can differ from orgasm to orgasm. You know, a side piece of information, the average length of a climax for a man is about 6 seconds. The average length for a climax for a woman is about 23 seconds. Do you understand? For that 20%, so if 80% of women are not getting there and 20% are, that 20%, man, they're having good times. They get that 26, that's more than 3 times the amount of what we get. I mean, those are good times. By definition, the major symptoms of anorgasmia are the inability to have an orgasm or long delays in reaching orgasm. That's distressing to you. But there are different types of anorgasmia. Here it is: lifelong anorgasmia. You've never had an orgasm. Acquired anorgasmia. You used to have orgasms, but now have difficulty reaching climax. Now, see, I would think that the acquired, that's probably in a woman who's older, right? So she could have been sexually traumatized later in life, some health conditions, medication, as they were saying before. Situational anorgasmia. Now, this one is interesting. You're able to have an orgasm only in certain circumstances, such as during oral sex or masturbation, or only with a certain partner. And we talk about hybristophilia, and hybristophilia is being sexually aroused by someone who is a social deviant, like criminal. Like, so a man who cheats on his wife because he's lying. A man who robs, he's a drug dealer, he's a rapist, a murderer. There are women who get sexually aroused and they can come to a climax easier with those guys. So, and then if you're not a criminal, if you're a good guy and you're honest, she's probably not going to be turned on by you. And then there's generalized anorgasmia. You're unable to have an orgasm in any situation with any partner. See a doctor, right? And they go down a list, you know, diseases, gynecological issues, medications, alcohol or smoking. They even say too much alcohol can hamper your ability to climax. Smoking can limit blood flow to your sexual organs. So women who smoke could be getting there in their own way. Now, here's another one. As you age, aging being one, as you age, normal changes in your anatomy, hormones, neurological system, and circulatory system can affect your sexuality. Waning estrogen levels as you transition to menopause and menopausal symptoms, such as night sweats and mood changes, can have an impact on sexuality. So that's interesting. So you don't worry about that with a younger woman. So an older woman, and I don't, you know, I guess 45, you could start pre-menopausal. Now, psychological causes of this word I may not be saying correctly, anorgasmia. Psychological causes. Many psychological factors play a role in your ability to orgasm. Mental health problems such as anxiety or depression. And you guys, and you already know, I pulled up an article, I showed you guys, they say women are 3.5 times more likely to attempt suicide. They're more likely to suffer from anxiety, depression, insomnia. So women just have this stuff going on in their brain. It's like they're killing their own sex high. So mental health problems such as anxiety or depression. Poor body image, right? So this whole body positive, and these women still don't like the way they look. They know they're unhealthy and overweight, and that's going to affect them. Stress and financial pressures, cultural and religious beliefs, and religion may have a huge impact in the U.S. We've built this Puritan nation where our foundation is built on a Puritan culture, because a lot of these challenges of anorgasmia, you may not find these if you go to Latin America, for example. I can tell you from Mexico, I can I can speak for Mexico. They don't have these problems. I mean, it's rare. Maybe it's 80% can climax and 20% can't. I don't know. And they know about their G spot. And Middle Eastern women also are have a better understanding of their bodies. Embarrassment, that's I think religion creates embarrassment about the body, about performance, ability to not perform. Embarrassment could get you on both sides, a younger woman or an older woman. But I would think an older woman who never got past her embarrassment from a younger age may be worse off as she gets older. Um, Guilt about enjoying sex. That's an interesting one. I remember once being with a woman who inhibited herself because she said she let herself go with some guy in a pad before she met me. And the guy told everyone on campus, this was in college, told everyone on campus. And after that, she promised to never let herself go like that again. So um, she was younger. She was in her early 20s. And then past sexual or emotional abuse. So other things for anorgasmia, couple problems outside of the bedroom can affect their sexual relationship. Issues might include lack of connection with your partner, unresolved conflicts, poor communication, or of sexual needs, right? So not being able to talk about sex. This whole idea is we shouldn't talk about it. We should just do it. Infidelity or breach of trust, intimate partner violence. So this is coming from the Mayo Clinic, not Ted Santos's opinion here. For anyone who thinks I'm always giving my opinion. Yes, much foreplay. But PJ, I've met women who literally, you just whisper in her ear. She could be cooking. You could be out somewhere. There are women who, like, it's like a light switch, man. You just touch her arm. You just run your hand down her back and whisper in her ear. There are women like that out there. There are women who, as soon as you fully penetrate, boom, that client, she just explodes. And these women are not faking. Whispering in the ear, you can't whisper. We can't fake getting wet immediately like that. And penetrating, like, you watch this body go into these rhythmic or unrhythmic convulsions. So there are some women who are, I guess, would be fortunate, since 80%, at least in the US, are having problems. Yes, I would say. Oh, and my understanding is a woman can come at least 7 different ways. Of course, squirting is one, and even there are different levels to squirting, but there are ways a woman, and I'm only talking vaginal, not even anal. There are ways a woman can come that's so intense, like she's immobilized, like she's almost paralyzed. Um, so, for the women who, that 80%, they don't even know what the hell I'm talking about when I say there's at least 7 different ways. I mean, a woman has to be really open-minded. So, in a couple, I'm going to share what men are saying sort of on the streets, like interviewing men, different age group, different ages. Yeah, PJ, a lot of women are depressed. And you know what makes it worse is feminists talked a lot of women out of out of enjoying sex. You know, I would wonder if these numbers of 80% have always been this way. But a lot of people don't know the 1920s was a sexual revolution in the United States. Supposedly they discovered the clit, and women went crazy. I mean, just look at it. It was such an explosion. If you look at pictures of women dressed in 1918, and then you fast forward to like 1921, 1922, and those women were flappers. They were almost wearing mini skirts and they had cleavage. And just the whole culture of the nation, you know, good times, stock market is booming. It was 1929 when the market crashed. In the 1930s, those dresses went right back down to a woman's calves, definitely below the knee. So women have been enjoying sex, but somehow we've got this Puritan culture. So if in the 1920s there was this sexual revolution, this explosion that we don't even hear about, because a lot of those women who were enjoying it, hell, they pretended like they were not doing that stuff, but they called them flappers. I think that's almost like calling them a thought. You know, they were slutting it up back in the 1920s because they discovered that sex for women was not just about being pregnant. It was about women enjoying it also, especially when they figured out that they could have 23 seconds of coming. So as opposed to a man's 6 seconds. Yeah. And if you listen to Days Are Here, I think it was the 1920s. There was a song, Happy Days Are Here Again. Da, 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 da. I don't know the name of the song, but I think that was the 1920s. So women were celebrating. So, hey, guys, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. And I'm going to share word on the street, but I'm going to open up. I'm going to drop the link if you like to come in. And let's talk about who's better in bed, older women or younger. I haven't even given you my perspective. I'm just sort of giving you the facts. So, hey, country boy, some of those women who only want to be with the bad boys, some of those are suffering from hybristophilia, which is a mental disorder. So they get aroused by criminals. No, they'll be well educated with PhDs going to visit guys in prison, conjugal visits. Yeah, a Scobe, that's another one. Someone could have broke her heart or even told her it was trash, right? So that see there's a dilemma. And maybe this dilemma is more with younger women than older. So if a younger woman hasn't explored her body as much, she doesn't know her body as well. She's not good at oral sex or knowing how to move her body. She hasn't been doing those Kegel exercises. How does a man tell her? And you know what? Let's take away the skill stuff, right? What she's just sort of inhibited, right? Because as men, we can sense that. So even if she can do all the skills correctly, if she's still inhibited, it still affects the experience, the sexual experience. It's difficult for men to tell women that she's not as enjoyable as she might believe she is. A lot of women get offended and may then, as you're saying, not be able to perform at all because in her mind, she's thinking about if she's good enough. I mean, women are already worried about whether or not they're good enough sexually. They're going through this whole head trash about, am I doing it right? Is he doing it right? You know, they have all this stuff going on, man. that has nothing to do with you. And it inhibits their ability to enjoy sex. So imagine if they never get beyond that and they go to 35 and 40 and 45 and they still have that head trash. They were never able to discharge it. I mean, that's like long-term sexual dissatisfaction, perhaps on her part, right? And she may enjoy the act of sex, but that inhibition still is there. Yes, Gobe, that insecurity, right? So it could be insecurity about her body. She doesn't think her body's that nice. She doesn't think she's a good lover. She doesn't know if she's doing it right. And yeah, if you're a good guy. Damn, PJ. If you're a good guy, it turns to sandpaper. That's rough, pun intended. Yes, but you know what? I've been with enough women who that even if they had been with bad boys, they still knew their bodies well enough to be able to enjoy it. I mean, I've been with women who could come in less than 5 minutes. Like I was surprised. And like I said, I've been with women who, as soon as you fully penetrate, poof, the explosion happened, and they could do it over and over again. Interesting, flicking the nipples. Oxytocin secretes, so that's a feel good from the nipples. Actually, when a woman is pregnant and they want to test her oxytocin levels, the gynecologist will stimulate the nipples so that they can assess. They do an assessment of her oxytocin to see if it's sufficient. Why are women chasing? Well, for a lot of people, sex is all about coming. So, of course, they would be chasing that if that's what they think it's all about. I personally would say sex is not about coming, even though that's part of it. But you can get way more out of sex than just coming. So, what do guys on the street say about older women and younger women? So, let's see. Before I take you to the word on the street, let me look at this other article. This article is for the older women. So this is Daily Mail. Oh, this is in the UK. Are older women really better in bed? Sexpert Tracy Cox says yes, 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 and here's why. Tracy Cox says there's a good reason why men are dating older women. Older women tend to have more experience and confidence in bed. Tracy says a confident lover is always in demand. So this was written in 2014. Daniela Westbrook, 40, and Tom Richards, 24, might not be a shining example of a summer-autumn relationship, but it's a combination that can make perfect sense. In the past, scientists stuck to the evolutionary theory that men prefer younger women who are likely to bear them more children. Not so. Results of one landmark study showed men don't really care how old a woman is. It's what she looks like that counts. Hang your head, you shallow creatures. Uh, while there's an obvious downside to this, the good looking really do rule the earth. The upside for single 30, 40, or even 50 somethings is you don't need to be quite as panicked as aging as you think, about aging as you think. In this particular study, a group of 20 something men consistently chose a picture of an attractive 40 something woman over photos of lots of other younger, if plainer women. Okay, interesting. It wasn't just for sex either. The men were asked to think white picket fences rather than a 50 Shades styling fling. Whether it's power, charisma, or the fact that they're damn good lay, the older woman is hot property. So the next time you're dressing about wrinkles or arms that continue waving when you've stopped, those arms that flap in the wind, you stop, remind yourself of these 6 reasons which make you hotter than Carrot. I don't know who she is. Why older women make great lovers. You know what you're doing. That's what they say. By the time most sexually adventurous women hit 30, they've not only clocked up more than a few lovers, they've been in a number of different sexual situations. Interesting. I have some words about that. Like anything, the more experience you have at something, the better you are at it. Over the years, the woman has dealt with penises that won't go up, down, or both. She's had lovers who needed their left shin tickled to get turned on, those who need instructions on just about everything, or some who've taught her a thing or two. The younger counterpart might have breasts that point to heaven, but an older woman will keep you floating on cloud 9 through sheer sexual knowledge. That's what they say. So she knows what she's doing. The other next one is you take charge. Because of the age difference, you both assume roles. The older partner invariably becomes teacher, the younger partner pupil. Interesting. While this can be annoying and restrictive out of bed, it somehow works while in it. Plenty of women still lie back and expect the guy to do all the work. If she takes the lead and becomes the sexual aggressor, it's an automatic penis pumper. What do you guys think of that one? The woman who takes charge. She's more aggressive sexually. She's running the show in bed. You guys for that? Is that a turn on, regardless of age? Hey, hey, Scobe, I know. I saw it right at the beginning. Yeah, it's they're pushing hard to get younger guys to date older women. PJ, they're just for practice. Yeah, that's an interesting one, right? Experience tells you one thing. Inexperience could give you innocence and a turn on, right? This was the other thing I said. Uh, and that take charge, I guess that's for the women who want to be in control of men, right? So they would look for a guy who's younger, hoping that they can take charge of him. I can tell you that doesn't work every time because Yeah. I mean, I was 19, met a woman who was 32. I made crystal clear that she was not there to take charge. She was older and taller than me, and I, I played probably more dominant role than I had than most. I was, yeah, I was out of control, dominant in bed. They take their time. It usually takes women a little longer to get warmed up than he does. Older women don't apologize for this. They make the most of it, knowing a slower, longer sex session is liable to be a lot more enjoyable for both of you. You respond. You're also more likely to exhibit the biggest turn on of all, responsiveness. He really would rather have dimpled thighs that quiver than a perfectly smooth set that don't move an inch. Okay. Many men name responsiveness as even bigger turn on than beauty. Responsiveness. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That woman's body is going through those rhythmic convulsions, right? You're confident. A confident lover is always in demand no matter what she looks like. In fact, plenty of therapists says it's an older woman's sexual confidence, which is at the heart of the appeal for younger men. You're not scared to give directions. Wow, this is very interesting. Um, if there's just one other piece of advice on sex a young girl should take from an older woman, that it's this: you won't get what you want in bed unless you ask for it. Lots of young women refuse to guide their lovers because they feel he should know what to do, or fear he'll see any instruction as criticism. The truth is, most men have forthright, confident women and would responsively relish a more hands-on approach. Yeah, I would say most guys are okay in saying if a woman says, I like it like this. I mean, we understand that not all women are the same, so we have to deal with them as individuals. I think a lot of women don't fully appreciate that about men. So, what's going on, country boy?
Good evening, Ted. What's up with you?
All right. So, what are your thoughts? We're asking who's better in bed, older or younger women?
Well, I simple put it to this way, Ted. Let me pose something to you. A man come to you right now and he gives you two options of two choice picks of vehicles. Option A, the 1952 Cadillac with over 400,000 miles on it. Option B, he gives you a brand new Lamborghini. Now, if those two different cars had been women, which one do you think the quickest gonna be to jump into bed with?
Yeah, I get that. The Lamborghini performs differently than a 1952 car, even though a 52 might be worth a lot of money, um, but it's not going to perform the same. And it's got a lot of
Yes,
miles. It's got you know, compression. It's going to have problems.
that's my same analogy with some of these women. And if you look at it like that, they coming up short on the sexual marketplace thing, Ted.
Okay. So you know what? I want to look at a. We're going to take what you just said, and we're going to. They interviewed guys, and this is going to be very interesting. You're going to see a pattern merge. 15 men discussed the difference between sex with a younger and older woman. This was December of 2015. Interesting. Lisa Woods, a woman, wrote this article. So, what do 15 guys, and if you look, they have the age of each guy who's they're kind of quick one two liners that these guys are saying about their experience. So it seems they interviewed men and asked them what's their preference, older woman or younger woman. And one guy says older women are better at sex, hands down. There's no question at all. They know their bodies, they aren't squeamish about what this means, and they know what they want. That's Marcus. He's 25. Next guy. I've been with a couple of women my age that were pretty crazy in bed, but the ones that have really blown my mind have all been over 35. One was divorced and one, well, wasn't. But both of them were hungry for it in a way that college women and women in their 20s just aren't. That's a guy who's 27. So if you see a pattern so far, let's see if we can get a pattern going here. I've only been with one woman who was what you might call older, and she was 41. Awesome in bed, but not awesome to look at. I was 18 at the time, though, so I was just excited to be there. Definitely dated girls my own age after that. So interesting. A woman's looks matters, but we're asking who's better in bed. But I think someone said this earlier when you guys first came in. Part of a man's turn on is a woman's physical appeal, her physical beauty, the body, the tightness of it. Now, here's a guy who's older. I'm 45. Being frank about this feels a bit weird, but it is definitely true that women feel differently about sex as they get older. When I was in college, I had sexual relationships with women who are now my wife's age, and they had sex with the same awesome abandon that my wife now does. Having said that, my wife, while not cold at all when we first got married, has definitely been more into sex as she's gotten older. So that just seems to be how it is. So he's saying his wife got better with age. Another guy, I've been hooking up off and on with a woman who used to be my boss over the last couple of years. Basically, whenever I'm single. She's divorced, has no desire to get married, and just wants to have fun. Best oral game ever. Doesn't treat it like a chore. Isn't constantly giving me romance eyes while she's going down on me. Overall, now that guy's 25. You guys see a pattern yet?
Yeah, something going on to it.
But listen, Scobie, uh, just listen. If you really listen to what these guys are saying about older women, there is a pattern there. It is. Here's another guy. He's 33. Younger women want to feel pretty. Older women want to get off and get you off. That's the difference. That's 33-year-old guy. I've been with
I
one
can't agree with it.
I've been with one woman who was 10 years older than me at the time. I'm glad I did it, but I prefer women my own age. I'd like to have something to talk about afterwards. That guy is 28. What'd you say, country boy?
I can't agree with them messing with them older women like that.
Okay. Here's a guy. It's no secret among my buddies that older women are better at sex. They're better at flirting too. They're pretty much better at everything. He's 23. But listen,
They,
huh? I,
these dudes don't have no experience to it.
maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Um, Listen, older women understand that it doesn't have to mean something every time you have sex, and they don't care as much about the circumstances around it. I've dated a couple of older women, and while both liked romantic things, they didn't require it as a pretense before sex. You weren't renting them. That guy is 26. Older women call you when they want you. Younger women call you when they want you to want them. Uh, this guy's age is not there, so I don't know. I don't want to guess. So that's an interesting. Older women call you when they want you. Younger women call you when they want you to want them. That's interesting. When I was 22, I hooked up with a woman who was 50. I'm sorry, 35. She rocked me out. We're married now. LOL. So yeah, that's how they are in bed. He's 25. Another 45-year-old guy. 45-year-old man here. Women my age are wonderful, but well, 45 is when things start breaking down for everyone. So you do the math. Sleeping with older women when you're in your 20s might be a real wake-up call sexually. But when you're getting older, women younger than you start looking better and better. That guy's 45. My there is a pattern here. It really is. My favorite thing about relationships with older women I've been with was not having to have some immediate answer about how I felt about them the next morning. I've never been with an older woman who tried to force a relationship where there wasn't one. And at the same time, if they want a relationship, they let you know up front instead of acting like they're just chill, girl, and being mad later. I I do remember that. I was 20 and I met a woman who was 25. And we had this conversation about, because I reached out and touched her nipple. And she told me, she asked me, how do you know I want you to do that? And I was like, yeah, I know you want that. So she said, well, it was an interesting conversation. She said, well, I would have sex with you, but except you're 20. And 20-year-old guys are like stray cats. Once you give them some, they keep coming back for more, even when you don't want them to come. So I said, hey, well, if we go down that path, it's you who's going to be the stray cat, not me. I can promise you. I won't. Uh, if this is just about sex, I can do that. So we talked about it later and we ended up having sex. Maybe, I don't know, 2 months into it, we're walking to my place and she said, things are changing. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, there are feelings involved now. And I said, that wasn't our agreement. And we went to my place. We had sex. She left abruptly and angrily, and I didn't see her. She just disappeared. She was very angry. But we had an agreement. So she was 25, trying to be like she was just chilling, and she wanted more of it. She didn't say that up front. She tried to pretend like I wasn't, like I was a young guy who wasn't that valuable. I was just a stray cat. So here's another guy. Older women are better at dirty talk. Oh, they're also better at sex. I remember telling my current girlfriend my age that once she pried it out of me, she got so mad. Here's another one. I have one particular woman to thank for ironing out my sex game when I was in my early 20s. She was great and was able to tell me exactly what to do to make her come. Up until then, all the women I had been with had been my age and had either been unable or unwilling to tell me what they liked. After this older woman and I stopped hooking up, I realized I'd basically become a god in the sack for my age group. Believe me, word got out. So one of the patterns that I see here is that older women seem to be more promiscuous. And for a younger guy, the woman who's just she's not looking for commitment from him. this is the thing that we've talked about before. One of the things that, even if these women, and we, none of those guys were explicit in saying the older woman could come easy, or knew her body well enough to do that. But see, one of the things that can happen is, as these women get older and they've been with so many different men that, like you guys talk about pair bonding, these women are not enjoying sex as much as you might think. So they may do all these things for a dopamine high, but those women have, in a lot of cases, exhausted or burned out their ability to enjoy intimacy, like sexual intimacy. Like I talk about a woman, as soon as you penetrate her, she comes. That woman is intimately intimate. I didn't even make any moves or anything like that. That's a woman who's just so into you and intimate that she enjoys anything and everything. When you can whisper into a woman's ear and she's ready for sex just like that. There's no priming her and pumping her and getting her ready. So at Scobey, yes, propaganda, but see, what they also told you is that a lot of these women who are older have been run through so much that that's all they had to offer those guys. Like one guy said, I needed something to talk about. And an older woman could say, well, I'm so smart and I've got all these things and I can't relate to this younger guy. A lot of what they were saying, that listen to how many times guys were saying it was just hookup. We were just hooking up. She was divorced. In other cases, she was married. See, these older women, what in Country Boy, you said it, some of these guys may not have been very experienced. So the woman who is just going to do anything and everything, and she may not even be good at it, except if he's only been with women his age who maybe didn't know how to do that stuff, or maybe wasn't even open to it. That woman, the older woman, looked like a superhero. She looked like a superstar. But the thing that I question about the pattern in that is that a lot of those older women may have been so run through that they set themselves up to just be like pump and dump dolls.
Exactly. Not to mention, Ted, that once you let them first main or the second main hit it and quit it, those dudes done imprinted not only her body but her mind and her soul, Ted.
Right, right. And so Scobey, he said, no matter how skilled she is, the energy transfer of a youthful woman is unmatched. And see, that's what I'm getting at, Scobey. If these women have been so run through, they're not exchanging that energy. They just, part of the energy that a woman is exchanging with you is like that bonding, that oxytocin that she's got running through her brain that has her want to get lost in you and bond with you. That's why when I said as soon as you penetrate, poof, she explodes. If those women have been so ran through, they can't, a lot of them may not be able to get that they may not have that energy exchange available because they can't get that the way they used to, because they've been with too many guys and they emotionally traumatize their brain. So the most they can do is just do a whole bunch of tricks, silly rabbit, right? And hope that the tricks are enough to make the guy feel like I never had this experience before. But
That's exactly what it is.
there is a there may have been a time where women were more open to that energy exchange you're talking about, Scobey, especially back when they were telling women, look, don't sleep with a bunch of guys. And women were smart and they did that. So, you know, if they were a widow or divorced and 40 or 45, they still hadn't been with a bunch of guys. So they still had that capacity to have that energy, that feminine energy exchange that we as men look for. And they may have developed some skills along the way. Right. They're like porn stars. But here's what's happened to women who are younger. the sexual proclivity. Oh, so wait, I skipped something. So you had the older women who could do that energy exchange, and then you had these women who came in between who were told sex subjugates you. You don't want a man dominating you, and he's gonna dominate you in bed and keep you in the bed, like all this. And it had women start freaking out, and I think women were less likely to enjoy sex. Hell, women were those women in that middle ground, those Gen Xers and some of the early millennials. They were being taught, don't let a man subjugate you. They were being taught wearing a thong is demeaning for women, is disrespectful to want a woman to wear a thong. But now, fast forward, late 80s into the 90s, man, these girls wear thongs and they feel good about themselves. They're not afraid to say, I want a man who can dominate me sexually. They're not scared to say that. And they might even still be a virgin, and there are women now, and even the women who were that middle, Gen Xer, the women who were much older, they had an appreciation for masculinity and the essence of a man being able to dominate sexually. They appreciated that. But it was those women between, like the older baby boomers and whatever we have, Gen Z. Between that, those were confused by feminists saying you don't want men dominate you. But now with porn, a lot of women have changed their attitude towards sex. Porn has given women a new perspective about sexuality because porn is so readily available. Hell, it's free. If you were born in the 50s, 40s, or even 60s, porn wasn't easy to come by, and if you lived in New York or even Jersey, you could have just gone to 42nd Street and they had all these X-rated theaters that you don't see them anymore. Peep shows, you had a lot of that stuff back then, but it wasn't it wasn't as readily available. So I think porn being so readily available has altered the way women see sex. Even if she's not promiscuous, she's just got a different mindset because she's been exposed. What were you gonna say?
Well, what about the hippie movement of the '60s? The women in particular, I'm talking about the psychedelic Woodstock generation.
So
what about them?
I know this woman who she entered college in 1976. And I asked her, I said, so what was that like? Was that like hippie and, Black Power movement, Black Panthers? What was that like? She said, nah, it was none of that. She said it was all about free love. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. Those women who are a little older, like they went into their teens and early 20s with free love and the complete freedom to express themselves. Like they didn't have this inhibited feminists saying, or the men are going to dominate and beat you and all this stuff. But later that woman would have gotten hit with feminism. But at least she had the chance to experience like kind of the old school masculine men. And I think now the younger women are kind of going back to that really old school, really appreciating masculinity in men and being more open sexually with things, and porn being one of the reasons that has opened women's minds. I mean, if you talked about squirting years ago, women, there's still women in that middle ground who argue with you and say squirting is bad because they don't fully understand it. But a lot of these younger women understand it because porn has exposed them as that it's fine. See, that's what I'm like trying to get at, that the sexual proclivities may be changing. So a lot of these older women who've been ran through, they don't pair bond. They may do a whole bunch of tricks and try to act like they're porn stars, like you saying, Scobe. But the ability to bond with a man properly, to like let themselves go, they don't have that. So that sexual energy exchange, that feminine energy that we as men want, because the women surely want our masculine energy. But a lot of them have been taught to deny us their feminine energy. So they end up not being as good in bed as they think they are.
Hmm.
So a lot of these younger women are seem to be more open-minded sexually. You know, that's another thing. There are a lot of women who are like, oh, I don't do this, I don't do that, I don't, you know, all this long list of things that I would never
Mm-hmm.
do. And yet they still have been ran through. And
Presto.
Scobe, I have met some young women who were, so for me personally, younger in their 20s, me personally, younger women, hands down, is it's. I mean, there's some older women out there who are they're good, but from what I've seen is if as a man, you know how to. If you're with a younger woman and you understand how to make her comfortable and feel free with you, an older woman can't touch that. They can't touch it.
So I stand correct on that old 1952 Cadillac theory, Ted.
Yeah, you know, 52 Cadillac is good. It's good nostalgia. But if you want performance, you pull out that Lamborghini or Ferrari, whichever one you said.
They just don't perform the same.
Hey, good to see you in the house, Nelson. That, you know, great point, right? So the feminist movement just likes to pump up older women and fuel their narrative and try to tell us what we're attracted to. And if we don't like that, there's something wrong with us. But I mean, my yeah, women who are younger are hot. And I'm not even talking about good to look at, right? And love the body, like all these things turn you on. Just performance wise. I mean, if she's turned on and you give her the freedom to be herself and enjoy herself any way she wants and explore her body and learn things about her body maybe she hadn't known before, yeah, she's going to bond with you. And an older woman may have a more difficult time bonding with you, which that alters the whole sexual act. Hey, Scobe, yeah,
Woo.
just reading some of your comments, right? Very inexperienced and selected for the magazine, right? Right. So, but still, there was the pattern for the older women. I I'm asserting that the pattern that you saw in the older women were, um, well, I hate to use this word, but more slutty. Um, it wasn't that they were having great sex. These were just younger guys who maybe hadn't seen very much, and they were impressed by anything. But they were just hookups. They were jump offs. They were just pump and dumps. So and part of the preconceived notion at younger, because hell, I was 19 and I met a woman who was 36 years old, and when I first talked to her, she told me that it might be one problem. She said I'm 36 and I have an 18-year-old son, and my 18-year-old son might have a problem with you. And I stood up tall like I was 40, and I said, well, you don't have to worry. I'm older than 18, so this is not a problem. I didn't tell her I was 19. I just said I'm older than 18, and your son won't have a problem with me. I ended up not hooking up with her. I ended up meeting a woman who was 27, who at 19, 27 was like an older woman. So, and that 27-year-old woman had no children. So it was a better deal for me. But it would have been interesting to see what it was like to have such an age gap uh, with a woman, and she was attractive, and her body was fit. She was in great. She was a brick house, so she had a great body, like hands down. But it would have been interesting, but she may have been run through.
That's my thing, Ted. We need more of that dynamic of age gap on the vice versa side. How you feel about that?
What do you mean by? You mean like more older women, younger women?
Older men with younger females.
That's what I said. Older. Didn't I say older men with younger women?
You said something about older women with younger men. I thought that's what I just heard you say.
Older men with younger women.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, we right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Older men, yeah, yeah, we right.
Uh, yeah. I mean, I did a show on that, and it was saying that even though men die before women, women age faster than men. Um, and there's something, and I forget what the name was, but there's something that older men have, because it was talking about how if an older man procreates with a younger woman, it and that older guy is really healthy, that he's passing on his longevity gene. I think they called it a longevity gene. And his longevity genes is harmful to an older woman, but it's beneficial to a younger woman. And the younger woman who gets impregnated by that older guy is creating children who will most likely live a long, healthy life. So they were saying that that's one way to create generations of people who have long lives by putting older men with younger women, because the older men have this longevity gene that it enriches the woman's physical body, but it erodes an older woman's body can't handle it, so it ages her faster.
Well, now that you mention it, Ted, I do remember some years ago. I forget who did the study about. Uh, it was better for a man to wait until he well past 50 years old to get married and settle down with maybe 15, 20-year junior for as his wife. Maybe this longevity gene stuff you talking about now got something to do with it.
Okay, all right. Let me just check out. So men dating women under 18, what age are we talking about? Because if you go into Latin America and you're a 25-year-old guy and dating a 15-year-old girl, no one blinks an eye at that. People don't have the same hangups about age, probably in a lot of other countries compared to the US. And actually, it wasn't even a big deal in the US. My paternal grandparents married when my grandfather was 21 and my grandmother was 16. So we have the feminists are the ones who said that that's a horrible and you're stealing this woman's life. And my grandmother had a career and she went on to, she worked until she retired. And she was a great mother. They had 5 children, and she did all she was very much a traditional wife. My grandfather worked his butt off. So depends on how old. I mean, and if you think about a 25-year-old guy and a 15-year-old girl, in 10 years, she'll be 25 and he'll be 35. No one would blink an eye with a 35-year-old man and a 25-year-old woman. No one would care. So, uh, it's the family. I mean, I lived in Latin America and I saw this, you saw it often. I mean, and I have friends who are from Cuba and other countries, and you hear the same stories. Their cousin, it's just, it's culturally, it's not a big deal at all.
So let me ask you this real quick, Ted. So what are the odds of somebody in my age group going to somewhere like Ecuador or maybe Costa Rica and trying to, court somebody that's 18 years old?
Hey man, look.
How will her parents feel with me courting, you know what I'm saying, courting her?
No, listen, listen. This guy just asked me if I have a daughter. My answer to you is no. But here's the deal: parents, as a general rule, want to see their children do well. They want to see them have a good future. They want to see their daughter do well. So that's it. Is the chances? The answer to your question always depends on you, right? And it depends on the socioeconomic class of the woman and in the future that you're going to offer, right? So hypergamy is, you could say, global, right? So they're going to want to know, how well is she going to be taken care of? How well will you treat our daughter? What does her future prospect look like with you? So it has
That, you know,
that's on
that
you.
was my thinking.
How you present yourself. What are you presenting as a man, as a human being? So ambitions are one thing. Your ability to reason and communicate and listen and how you engage a woman. All those things are going to be important. How you manage money. How do you manage money? It's going to be a huge part. How are you going to raise
Cause a
the
lot of dudes, you know, I'm like you, Ted. I'm thinking along the lines of family. And when I hear these stories, these dudes, they just going over there just looking for fun. They not going over there looking at it at the aspect of your you interacting with that girl or that woman's family also, Ted. You know what
well,
I mean? You just not gonna just jump up and just go over there and mess with somebody's daughter. You know what I'm saying?
well, yeah. I mean, in Latin America, it's almost like you don't marry the woman, you marry her family. So it's like the families merge. What's going on, Naya? Ibrahim, good to see you, man. Haven't seen you for a while, man. What's going on? And they still happens in the South. I didn't know that. Really? Okay. So you're in the South, country boy. He's saying it still happens down there. See, a lot of people, a lot of guys think they have to run to another country, but there are women here who have been silenced, and uh, they have a different outlook on life than um, what we see in mainstream. So there's got to be some way that you make yourself appealing to a woman like that, and that's it. Won't matter where you go. You can find lousy women in Latin America. You can find great women in Latin America. The same here. All right. And if you bring a woman from Latin America here, she's eventually going to be influenced by what's here. So you know,
Or you up and relocate to Latin America. That's what I'm
well,
suggesting though.
you better learn Spanish. You better have that down before. You better have that as a clear commitment, because, and I did a show on dealing with that. Uh, if you don't speak the language, there's a whole bunch in the culture that you're gonna miss. It's gonna go right over your head, and you might not get the blessings of the family. So your question is, does it make it right? I don't know if it makes it wrong. I mean, where did this? Who decides whether it's right or wrong? I mean, if a woman is 25 and a guy is 35, is that wrong? What's going on, man? Wait, in Panama, man? What's going on, dude? This
What
is
you
cool.
mean my Panama?
You been to Panama? What's you been hanging out? Down in Panama?
Oh no, I was going through some things and I just went incognito.
Okay, I see it. I see it.
I'm
Excuse me.
just out. I'll say about 2 months now. I just started getting back on my feet.
Okay, good to see you. Looking good. So life's treating you well then, huh?
Yeah, yeah, much better, much better.
Very good, man. So what do you think of this topic we have going on? Who's better in bed, older or younger women? That's what we're talking about.
Mostly younger women.
Damn, man.
Mostly younger.
Older women not getting any props here tonight.
Well, there's some out there, but you know, the older they are, you know, a lot of them have been run through and washed up, and you know, so
Did you hear me talking about that?
yeah, you know, a lot of older women they don't really value uh, they they don't really value sex properly.
That's a good way to put it, man. That's in Skull Bay. If you're still in a house, that's part of what the pattern I was seeing. What you just said, man, is that older women don't always value sex properly. They're yeah. Keep going. Sorry, man, but that's well said.
Yeah, I mean, you know, because you know, younger women, uh, they're very open, and if the man that they're with has a decent head on his shoulder, he could guide her and mold her accordingly, and you could have a great relationship. But older women, it's like they shut the faucet off, and it's like they use sex to control you. I'm not saying that younger women won't do that, but older women don't really. It's like they don't even desire sex anymore. It's like they use sex as a tool after they have been with multiple men.
Right, right.
It's you know, it doesn't seem like to me that older women uh, they desire sex for themselves. It's only used as a tool to get what they want.
Interesting.
Makes sense though. When that Mr. Anthony Knox said it kind of makes it sound like that they only using it, they weaponizing sex.
Yeah, that's my experience with women over 35 and older. They by the time you've met them, the majority of these women in their mid 30s on up, they've been with 6 or more men already.
Yeah, and they're
So they've been ruined,
right.
pretty much ruined.
I want to. Someone asked a question about who was asking about younger women and older men and
Okay,
respecting.
give me 1 second.
Okay, so you're asking about respecting the innocence of a minor. I'm not sure I fully understand. I mean, you are aware that people used to get married at like 15, like girls were 14,
I,
15. Hell, there are still countries where people get married at the couple, they're both around 16 years old. They get married. So what's the difference if you marry if you're a 16-year-old girl and you marry a 16-year-old boy, or you marry a 25-year-old boy? What is the difference?
it's cultural norms. That's what the difference is.
No, but I'm
That's
at
they
well, that's it depends on where you are, right? Some places they don't care about that.
right.
So I'm only asking what's the difference. Someone's asking the question. Yes, under pressure. I mean, I just there. Hell, I lived in Mexico. I lived in Costa Rica. I lived in Belize. I know way too many Latinos, and family after family. At some point, someone has more than one person, whether it's the girl or the guy, and there's an age gap.
I think our society, Ted, we tend to downplay the customs and the traditions of those other countries. Would you care to agree with me with that?
Well, I mean, I don't know what the customs and traditions of another country has to do with the U.S. I mean, as a country, you
I
have to
mean,
create your own.
when that dude asks you about, you know, about the innocence, it ain't like, you know what I'm saying, it ain't like some old 50-year-old pedophile from America just jumping up going over there marrying an 8-year-old girl in a foreign land. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know what's going on in that country. That's how I'm perceiving the question.
Okay, I'm responding to someone's questions on Instagram. So um, let me see. How do I put this? It's only right or wrong if people say it's right or wrong. Now, if a 15-year-old girl can be with a 25-year-old guy and be fulfilled in her relationship, what is she being denied? So if she's 15, he's 25, and they're in a fully committed relationship. They're both fulfilled, they're both happy, they're both moving towards the direction of marriage. And when she gets to whatever age they get married, you know, she's 18, she's 20, whatever that, she's going to be young, and he's committed to her. She most likely ends up having sex with only one guy her whole life. Her uterus is clean. Why? So here in the U.S., what we tell girls to do is go out and try their options. And we have a gentleman here on YouTube was saying, you know, a woman gets with through studies, what they find is when a woman has sex with 6 different men, she's 3 times less likely to be in an emotionally stable relationship. So the guy who catches her young, takes her serious, marries her, she's less likely to become emotionally unstable because she's been with so many different guys. Statistically speaking, women who get married as virgins have an over 90% chance of a successful marriage. Women who marry the first guy they've been with, still over 90% is not as much as the woman who married as a virgin, but they're both over 90%. The woman who's been with 2 different guys, it drops down to the 80s. And then the more guys she's been with, the percentage of it being successful drops. Like when she gets to 6, the number,
Yep.
it just drops off the charts, man. So
Yeah, and it don't matter how good she is. She's
let me say this: women are not biologically neurobiologically designed to be with a bunch of guys. So here in the U.S., what we promote to women is you're innocent. Go sell your innocence on the market, and then she gets to this point of no return, and there's nothing she can do about it. She's gone. She's out there.
it is.
This is what we're saying. See, yes, they become fun for pump and dump, but if you want really good sex, you want that woman who's going to really bond and be into you and be able to fully allow herself to enjoy you. That happens when they're younger, man, not when they get older. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was gonna say, I was just elaborating on what you were saying. Today, women are taught, young girls are taught to live their best life. By the time, so in their teens on up to their 20s, up to 30, they've been living their best life, and by the time you get to them, they're they're used up Brillo pads.
Exactly. With rust on them. You know when those bill pads start getting rust on them?
Yeah,
You got to throw them
that's
away.
a bad analogy, but
That was a perfect analogy. They're rough. They got rust.
Exactly.
Got attitudes.
Soul ties, Mr. Knox.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's the thing.
When you try to bond with them, or when you have sex with them, you absorb that. You absorb that yourself. So you also got, men have to be careful who they're sleeping with.
Right,
It's not
exactly.
just, men think that we could just go do whatever we want. It's not the case. Scientifically, it affects you also. It just doesn't affect you as much as it affects them, but
Right.
you suffer consequences as well. Because every person she slept with, you've slept with spiritually and physically.
Exactly, Mr. Knox. I was taught that, demons transfer during intercourse, man. So that was one thing my moms and pops put in us to scare me, into not going ahead messing around like that. And maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on it, because I know the Moors probably teach that. I don't know. Since
Yeah,
I know you mentioned they teach the polygamy way, and I'm looking at that like, okay, but then you got these pickup artists telling dudes they supposed to go out and sleep around, but at the end of the day, Mr. Knox, you got that spiritual aspect of this thing, uh, being sexually involved with somebody.
yeah. I've never been. Well, my son's mother, she's 31, so she's half my age. My son's 16, and I got permission from her family for her to move in with me. So, and she's from Macon, Georgia. But as far as the Moors and what we practice, what we're taught about polygamy, that's us anyway. I don't know what other Moors, because there's different sects of Moors, but what we're taught is that polygamy is not nothing to play with. It's used to build a family unit and to build community. And us born in us born here in America, we're not really prepared for that. Like me, I don't think I would ever take that on. Me and my son's mother, we talked about that, and maybe if we were still together, we would do that. But me at my age and the things that I've experienced, I don't know if I got the patience to deal with two or more women, man. I could just barely deal with one person now. I have very little patience for the stuff that's going on with women today. You know what I mean? So by the time I get myself together now, I probably only want to be with one person, and that's it. But uh, polygamy is not a game. It's not a game, man. It's not nothing to play with. And as far as sleeping with multiple people, it's like I said. It's what we're taught is that you take on, it affects you negatively, not only in this life, but when you move on to when your soul I don't want to say pass on, because we don't ever die. It's just we shed the physical body. When you move on into to the higher dimensions, it slows you down. It can slow you down in the
Okay.
afterlife. So what you do here affects you in the afterlife. So it's best to be educated on that as early as possible. So we have to teach it. We have to teach our sons and daughters how they're supposed to conduct themselves in sexual relationships. And also that's why in the mystery schools is more notable with the ancient Egyptians. That's why they wore the apron to cover their
Wow.
phallus. It's a symbol of well, one of the symbols that it represents is sexual
Purity.
control of your sexuality. Self-control.
Okay. Good. We're way off on topic now, but those are definitely good things to know, man. Thanks.
Well, what was the topic? Because I came in late.
All right. So who we were talking about? Who's better in bed, older or younger? And I've got a guy on Instagram who's telling me.
Oh, it's not way off topic. It's just elaborating on certain things. But yeah.
Yeah. No. I got it. We were. Yeah, I got it. It was
Yeah, but
definitely
I don't want to go off into space though either. Yeah,
right.
I
Exactly. So this guy was saying that they have more experience. Older women have more experience. Maybe. So with a younger woman, one of the challenges for guys, and it's kind of you're Anthony, you're like talking about that, because if a guy is with two women, one of the things that he's got to be on point about is his leadership. And if you don't have that together, managing a relationship with two different women, just the way women's brains work, you could end up getting run over, and it'll look like they're being emotional about things, but you have to have, and I'm not talking about being a dictator, but you've got to have that masculine structure that keeps order in your place. And so a lot of guys may be uncomfortable with younger women because they really never learned how to do that with women. So I was reading an article, and it was talking about older women like being with younger men because they can be more dominant and they can lead in the bedroom. That's one of the things that an older woman might look for from a man. So the guy may not see that he's being led. And the reason why this woman is single is because she probably didn't allow herself to be led, or at least to be cooperative with the guy. So she's looking for someone where, I'm not saying all, but a lot of times they may be looking for someone where they don't have to cooperate with the guy. And a younger guy would allow that to happen. So I'm answering this guy. Yes, women will say they know what they want, but at the same time, they still have the right to change their mind, and that's what we've set up in our society. And men, we've allowed that, except if you don't have any way of providing some sort of guidance, so that she doesn't get too far off course. Because sometimes a woman will get on feelings, and if the woman has been ran through, she may be more protective of what you think is she knows what she wants, but she's protecting herself. Because she may have put herself in situations that she didn't get what she wanted out of it. So she's trying to avoid that. So that's more of a protective mindset, as opposed to
Let's
some
go, baby.
knowing what they want. What's going on, Skill Base? Thanks for joining, man.
Hey, what's going on? You can hear me?
Loud and clear.
I kind of missed the last couple 2 minutes.
It's all right.
I don't want to just come in with my you know how I come through.
Nah, it's cool. But the guy, so we got kind of deep on it. We were talking about polygamy and men being prepared for polygamy, and I'm talking to another guy on Instagram people saying when women have been run through, they're more fun that way. And you know, I like where you were coming from and saying that when women haven't been run through, they have a more pure sexual energy that they exchange with you that's not hasn't been tainted by a bunch of different men they've experienced. And a lot of times older women didn't get what they wanted in relationships. That's why they're still single and available.
I think it's very great that it's not that the younger woman is more skilled. Her transference of energy is just more explosive, hands down. It's unmatched. It can't be duplicated or taught. It's just literally there.
And they're
Now
not afraid to express.
that transference of energy varies from youthful woman to other youthful women. They don't have the same explosions, but you don't find that transference of energy in older women. They have an energy. It's not like they're dull, but it's not like the youthful women. It's not the same. It's just not.
Right. And that's and part of what I was also saying is that the younger woman is more likely to intimately bond with you and let herself go free. She'll let herself run free sexually. An older woman may not have gotten what she wanted out of relationships and may be more in a protective mode. So she can't even let herself go free.
After like after a dope session with a more youthful woman, there's like this little connection there that's natural. Whereas in the older woman, it's kind of scripted, but she's really more masculine about like it's almost like she just got her nut off and she's good. Where the younger girl gives you some kind of like a googly eyed and dreamy eyed, and like you get what I'm saying. She has like a little attachment to you.
We're saying the same, man.
Oh, did I miss that? You guys went through that already?
No, you're fine. You're on point. But I guess I was being too technical, right? So,
Yeah, the way you flowing with it is a little more, you know, you flowing like water. So
Islam, or
yeah, you flowing Islam. Yeah, you
yeah.
flowing like the way we were talking about it was a little more scientifical. But the
All
how
right,
you
all right,
coming with it is you flowing like water with it, so you good.
all right, all right. I appreciate that. So and these are based on my experiences. That's what I'm saying. I'm not scientific with it. It's just I'm speaking from experience. So I've had older women that are sexually like more. I can't say better because they don't have those fireworks are not there, but they may be more skilled. They may be far more skilled and they know exactly what they're doing. But how do you mimic youth and that youthful energy? Like even afterwards, when I'm dealing with a younger girl, it's like coffee sometimes afterwards. It's like coffee.
what does that mean?
Sometimes I have sex and I feel drained.
Okay.
Sometimes I have sex and it this varies from different kind of women. And I'm not saying the older woman doesn't always have this. Some of them do, but some sex will put me to sleep, and it's not a performance thing or you know what I'm saying, a cardio thing. It has nothing to do with that. It's specifically the woman. I don't want to get too metaphysical and deep like that, but this is what it is. Some girls specifically, like if I, I I won't call them over on the late night because I want to go to sleep. Their sex keeps me up. It wakes me up, and I find that to be more so in the youthful women.
Right.
It's like a jolt of it, like it's like espresso.
It's that exchange we were talking about. This when I first opened up the show, you were there. I said sex is not just about coming. If you're having sex just for coming, you're missing out on what sex can be made available. And when a woman is younger, the way her body functions, I use the word pure, right? So she's going to openly um, she's going to openly bond with you the way nature planned it. When a woman has been run through, she's going to have some kind of like either circuit breakers or she has abused what her natural bonding functions and she can't do it anymore. So she's just now the physical act. An older woman could end up being just a physical act of sex. Unless she's a woman who hasn't slept around, she's a widow or something like that. Um, but there's also a cultural mentality that some of the older women have been exposed to, uh, where sex has almost become like a transaction. But a younger woman who hasn't been exposed to sex as a transaction, I'm doing you a favor. She's looking to fully explore um, her sexuality with a man. So if you give her the freedom, she's taking the lid off, and you're gonna get exactly what you
It's just sometimes just to be the just to be first.
be. What?
Sometimes just to be the first to do something with a woman, there's an energy in that alone. There's a precedence
Oh,
that
absolutely.
and just in that act alone that I'm the first one to do that to. You've never been touched there like that. There's a
Absolutely.
power in that. You get what I'm saying? There's a feeding of the male ego in just that act alone. That I'm the first in this uncharted territory. I'm here, like, and you can't get that. There's not much you can show like an experienced woman, and they may be doing everything right, but as I said before, you can't mimic the youth full energy.
Well, let me tell you a flip side to an older woman. She may have too many preconceived notions that she already knows her body, and if you try to take her somewhere she hasn't been, she might resist. I've seen that. They're like, "Well, I know my body. You're not a woman. That's uncomfortable." I'm like, "No, but if look, it's not pee. If we just stay with me on this, you're gonna be okay. There's a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow, and she may be more stubborn. A younger woman will just let it flow because she doesn't know, she's never been down this path before. An older woman may have preconceived notions that I know what I'm doing and I don't want to go there. And she ends up cheating herself out.
Sometimes they're caught in the same routine that they're used to with pleasing themselves,
Right.
where the younger girl may be more adventurous.
It,
But I want to
exactly.
say to credit to not just um to credit the older experienced female, when they know what they're doing, they do have a better way of figuring you out and what you like. I will say that they know how to discover what you get what I'm saying, because when you're coming out of a relationship, well, me anyway, when I'm coming out of a relationship and you're with like a new partner or you come across something new, the pattern is going to change of what you were used to doing with the last person. Now you're coming on to, you get what I'm saying, new things, which may not be new, but they have a different combination of how they approach sex.
Exactly.
And the the older female, she'll figure you out a lot faster. But it's something about that mystery with the young girl, even when she don't know what she's doing, it still has a value.
So I'll give you, so if we benefit with an older woman. So if you ever watch wo- women dance salsa, and if a woman is experienced in dancing salsa, he's dancing with a guy who knows what he's doing. She just lets that you watch that woman move. anywhere the guy, any direction he points her, she moves. And it's amazing how fluid she is. So an older woman can actually be like that if she's with a guy and she thinks that you know what you're doing, and she'll have zero resistance. She'll just let you take her where she needs to go. That it's because she's experienced in letting it happen.
I assume you're a dance. You're quite the dancer, Ted, aren't you?
I'm not a salsa, not at all.
Oh, all right. I just imagined you for some reason, just like with a senorita getting it on. I don't know why, but I just like Ted probably went to Brazil or something and was dancing his ass off.
Well, I watched some dude who was like 60, and I watched the hottest girls in the club. This was at the Copa when it was on 34th Street. I don't know if you knew it was there.
I remember the Copacabana. Come on. I've never been in it. I'm young, but I've heard stories.
So I'm in there, and I'm watching this dude about 60, and the hottest girls in the club are lined up to dance with him.
Because he got moved.
Waiting their turn, because he was so smooth. And when you watch how the women dance with him compared to other guys, and the other guys were good, but the older dude was just so smooth, man. It was incredible. And like the women, you could see that they appreciated that. They wanted to dance with him.
Let me say this, Ted. This just came back to mind to get back on track of the topic of this episode you're having. I have and this may just be me because I'm primarily speaking from my experiences, right? When it comes to older women, I have less desire to give them foreplay.
Damn. Ouch, man.
Yeah, I just feel like they've been there before. I mean, it may be my bias or something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it may be me. It's not, you know. But I'm being honest. I have like, I don't be into it, like, you know.
All right.
It's like I'm acting. Like it doesn't matter how beautiful they are either. I feel like their titties been sucked on all crazy, or you know, like I just feel like I'm not really doing nothing. Like I just gotta do this. Like get this part over with a young girl. Like I mean, like you fresh peach, come here, girl. Like you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna step back for a bit, Anthony. Go ahead. I go ahead and jump in, Anthony. I'm gonna take a step back for a bit.
I just walked back in the room. I had to check on my father real quick. I didn't get what you was saying.
So
boy, let's go make you a trip, boy.
No, I'm just giving it a buck. I'm with the fellas is in here. We talking. Is that just me?
But
is that just me?
No, it ain't just you, cause you know you pretty much can't show her nothing that she ain't already seen, Scope.
So it's like I may be even to not be condescending on the older female again. It may be me and my insecurity, but it's there and it exists. Something is off where I'm not on them like that. Like I feel like just another guy sometimes with an older woman, like you know.
Oh,
well, that's natural though, because technically, I can speak for me because I don't know your situation, but it's almost, man, to be honest with you, it seems like we talking about a taboo type of subject, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, so me personally prefer somebody younger than myself, but like you said, you just can't get that girly girl act with that old lady like you could, you know, somebody say 18, 21 years old. You know what I'm saying?
And he was saying that he doesn't feel the need to be as patient and go through foreplay with an older woman.
I'm not saying it's not necessary. It's just I'm not the desire to do it is like and like I said, not to discredit them, it may be me that I'm just like you done had your titty sucked every type of way. I ain't doing nothing. You know, like what, I don't got nothing up my sleeve for this old bro. I don't like you know like how am I impress you? It's a little intimidating, like you know, like
I can get what he's. I can get what.
Like I'm wasting my time on this nipple. I'm like a little baby trying to figure out a rotation. Like this nipple and seeing it all.
Yeah,
I ain't about to make her twitch on her. The young thing, I get on that. I do that foreplay. She's already twitching.
yes, it's more exciting with a younger woman.
She's
It's more exciting.
responding at the simplest touches, and not that she'll do that with anybody. Just I know what I'm doing. With the old bro, I be feeling like in my head, like she probably like, nigga, hurry. But you don't hurry up and put in. Like, boy, I ain't got no time for this shit. Give me the day. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, not to be a profane on your show, but
you telling the truth though, Scovey. That's how I feel. That's exactly how I would feel in that situation.
Hey, we just had a woman jump in on the chat, but keep going, guys.
I'm not reading. Should I be reading the chat or should I just keep flowing?
Laughing. She's laughing at your comment. So
but that's because they've exceeded the amount of bodies that they're supposed to engage with in their lifetime. A woman is only supposed to be with one person. So once they start to stack up bodies, they become insensitive, and there's no more excitement after that for them.
I'm gonna leave it at this because I don't want to keep going in on the older women. Like, no, because I'm attracted to them as well. Don't get it twisted. It's just the nature of the conversation. You get what I'm saying? Also when it because I was just thinking about the foreplay, right? It's just when the young girl's body is firm and right, and it's a different like kissing. It's just, you know, like when a girl had babies before and it's like soft and mushy. It's just I don't like that. Like, you know, like you sucking it, the titties worn. It's just not. It's not the thing, bro.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm talking about? You sucking an older woman titty, like 30 something, and it's not like it's just. I don't want to do that no more. I don't. Can we get this over with real quick? And it might be fine. Don't get it twisted. It might be real good. But the foreplay is something that it's always been a discouraging thing for me with older women, and I think that has a lot to do with energy.
Yeah, man, it got everything to do with the energy, the vibes, all that, the soul vibes, the sexual experience, all that.
They probably don't want to hear that, but that's what it is. Like I said, women in this society, they're taught to live their best life, and by the time they've done that, then they're ready to settle down and get married. But then after that, I'm not gonna say all the time, but most of the time, the person they marry doesn't experience what the other men have experienced. Those other men before him have gotten the best of her. They've gotten her in her best years, and her husband, most of the time, will never experience that.
If you think he's skilled and patient, he could with an older woman.
Youthful energy is cream of the crop, Ted.
No, but
Exactly.
let's say a woman is 45 and she still looks great. She's in the gym. She's still tight, and she's with the guy who is, right around her age. But he's skilled. He's patient.
They don't even smell us. They don't even have like the same sweat smell.
Yeah,
Ted.
it has nothing to do
They
with him.
don't sweat the same. Ted. The smell of the sexual session. I'm not talking about the vagina. I'm not talking about vagina maintenance. I'm literally talking about body sweat. It's not the same. Like the young girl is sweet. Like I'm not joking about this.
No,
Like it's a different radiance.
right.
It's just I don't care if she's in shape. And there's older women that I'm more attracted to than younger women. Don't get it twisted.
Like physically
But
find them attractive.
yes. But
Right.
it's just because I'm trying to picture like some when you said that, like if she works out and she's fit and she's older. So I'm thinking of the girls in the gym, the older girls that are hot that I'm attracted to in the gym. But I just then I'm thinking about other girls I dealt with that the sweat is just even different.
Mm-hmm.
The sweat isn't it's not like it's not it don't have the same pheromones in it. Like you get what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
And I wish they knew that about themselves. This is not a popular topic. It's probably frowned upon.
Yeah, I probably do that too often, too many times. I take on these politically incorrect conversations.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Another,
I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm like, nah, the young broads they even sweat different. In the heat of passion, that sweat is different. But go ahead,
Mm-hmm.
brother.
What were you gonna say, Anthony?
yeah, it's like it's their energy, like you said. You know, it's like smelling baby powder versus a bottle of vinegar. You know what I mean?
That was cruel.
That's
That was
the
cold.
truth. Younger women, they smell different, man. It's like you said, like Kendrick was saying, that their pheromones, their hormones smell different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to make it a little bit technical. So I put together a team, and I was working on creating an app. And the app I wanted to create was a wearable that would tell a woman, one, if she was pregnant, and two, if her period was coming. And the technology already exists. Like people have already figured out that your body secretes certain biochemicals, and if you have a wearable, you can set up the wearable to actually be able to read the certain biochemicals. So let's just take what you're saying, Scope. If a woman's older and she's no longer secreting certain chemicals the way she did or as much, then absolutely she's going to smell different. She's going to taste different. It's all going to be different. Like she may have exhausted certain things, or um, we were talking about if a woman has sex with too many guys, her pair bonding, right? So her brain, she may have had sex with so many different guys that her brain is not secreting certain neurochemicals, and that's going to be a huge difference in your whole experience. Like a man's sexual experience is not just what he delivers; it's how it's the whole engagement and the woman's ability to be free, like you were saying, the whole energy to like just release it. Um, that youthful energy, it makes a difference. And if a woman does not know her body, it doesn't matter how old she is, that also alters the experience.
All right, can I one more for the sake of and then I'm gonna get low. I'll be back in the chat. Um, a young woman's moan, the immature moan, or even when she develops her moan and is confident about it, it just sounds better. It vibrates throughout me better.
Yeah, I can get that.
I know that this young woman has barely learned the techniques of faking it.
Yeah, that's a good
She's
one.
responding to my thrust like I'm fiddling a violin. Where
Much obliged.
the older woman is putting on theatrics to encourage you, but the youthful woman is literally like a violin. It's like we're dancing. It's just a different
No,
experience, man.
that's the perfect word. It's like you're dancing. It really is.
Yes, she's you had mentioned something about the gyrating when you thrust, and how see the older woman is clenching. She's learned Kegels and she knows how to flex her muscles. These are theatrics and tricks and skills, what you call them. But naturally, with the thrust, when you're doing something right, the young girl is just squeezing. She can't help it. The more she enjoys, her body is just clenching you. She's clenching you. It's not the same with the older woman at all.
and if an older woman, it's kind of like you were saying, a whole bunch of men have already done this to you, so she almost already knows what to expect. The younger woman is anticipating an experience she's never had before and being fully open to it.
She's too vocal. She has, oh, sometimes they're too quiet because they don't want to be too vocal, but you know it that, they're not comfortable enough to moan. Sometimes they moan too much. They haven't got a pattern yet, and you just, you're getting all the sexual applause from her. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? You're getting all your accolades with every stroke. That's gonna be absent. It ain't a big audience there for the most of the time for the older woman who will be more on cue. Like she has cue cards.
Exact right. She knows what to expect. And action. And okay, scene 2.
Yeah, I gotta moan. Let me call him daddy. Like I didn't have young girls that just won't shut up, and it's just ego. So they just going. She's in heaven, and I am too.
So,
You know what I'm saying? But with the older female, it's not like that. And then sometimes they don't want to give you all your props. It's
yeah, that's a whole.
She has a routine already.
Right. Yeah.
You ever nail the same broad with somebody? Like you ever nail the same broad and or you got a mutual kill and you run into a brother at the gym or the barbershop and y'all got a mutual kill and the female is like the exact same way. That story doesn't play out exactly like that with the younger broad. Those stories twist and turn a little differently. She's full of surprises.
I'm also, how do I want to put this?
The older woman knows when to go home, though. Young broad, you got to kick her out. I'm trying to give her props. Before I close out. I'm flowing. I'm trying to, because I'm not gonna put the not in every single way. Am I putting the because it just wouldn't be true. Am I putting a young girl? But as far as sex, she's naturally got it over the older female, over the older woman. Excuse me.
Yeah. Easier to get her.
So let me ask you this. Yo, Scobe.
I'm here, brother.
So let me ask you this. In your own personal experience, so would you recommend both? Cause you sound like you around my age group, so dudes 20s and 30s and older, with the younger women, or would you prefer the older women if you had to choose?
All right.
As far as sex wise.
Oh, just based on sex, I'm going with the young woman all day. There's the young, inexperienced. It doesn't matter what level she's on. I'm going with the young woman all day. If it was just a simplistic choice like that. Now, if we want to get detailed, which I'm sure you're not trying to do that, just based off, I'm going with the young woman all day. That snug, that energy, the vibrate, the pant. It's a totally different experience. You have made reference to the Lamborghini and the 52 or something.
52 Cadillac.
Yeah. Give me the Lambo, man. I'll take the Lambo.
Cool.
I'm doing donuts in it. And do that. I wouldn't recommend you do that in the 52, sir. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. It was nice kicking it with you fellas.
So
I'm gonna you got something for me, Ted?
Hold on, Scobe. I'm gonna ask you to leave. So maybe we said it all.
I can keep going if you want me to, but I don't want to be one-sided on this. Even though the magazines were one-sided, whatever you read, the articles.
Yeah.
They were one-sided. So.
Yeah, but actually, they also told on women also at the same time without realizing it. They told on older women, and just what you were saying, just like another dude. She's just here to come, and and the younger woman is here for the whole experience.
Yeah, yeah, and whether that's her intent or not, it's just it unfolds like that.
Right. I'm just
But
here to talk.
the older woman, she's kind of like a dude that just want to bust his nut. Like,
Right, I'm
you
here
know?
to talk. Exactly. And
Yeah, she's more like that.
I just need to get off, and oh, I gotta go home. So
You'll run into an older woman that they don't kiss. Like that part of them is gone.
do you guys? Does anyone know why kissing is important? Like as foreplay. Anyone know why it's? So I like. Do you know why it's important to kiss?
All right, I'll give you. I feel like I'm dominating the conversation. Y'all good?
No. We're good. Good. What? Why
You
do
good.
All
Why
right,
do
all
you
right. Yeah, I don't want to like make
kiss?
it the SCO show. I have a habit of doing that sometimes. It can be annoying. Hey, yo, listen. I think kissing is important, and this is me speaking from my experience, and primarily in my sexuality, which is not often a public conversation. But when a woman is kissing me during sex, it directs all my attention to what we're doing,
Okay.
and it heightens my senses to what we're doing. I can smell her breath. I can kind of
Right.
hear her, and we're kind of communicating. My mind is not. I'm not because sometimes during sex, I'm like a thinker. I'll be thinking about, oh shit, I gotta wake up at 9 for work tomorrow and coffee break while I'm in the pussy. You get what I'm saying? But the kissing, it'll bring me in the moment of what we're doing and how
Okay.
we're doing it, and we're kind of talking to each other
Right. With
through
that.
the pressure and
Right.
speed and passion of the kissing.
All right. Anyone else? Any other thoughts on why kissing is important?
It's a similar situation with myself. With myself, kissing helps me bond with the person.
Okay.
You know, I happen to like foreplay a lot, so kissing is a very important part of the process.
Okay. So what kissing actually does, and no question, it bonds and what you guys are saying. But what it literally does, when you're kissing the woman, you're literally transferring testosterone to her, which arouses her even more. So it's extremely important for the foreplay. That it just the more you kiss her, the more testosterone you're transferring to her, and the more aroused she becomes.
I thought that had to do with groping on her to doing the foreplay situation more
Yeah,
so than the kissing.
no, kissing. See,
Kissing is part of it.
testosterone makes a woman more aroused. When you are kissing her, you are actually secreting testosterone and transferring it to her, and she's getting more aroused by your kisses because she's getting more testosterone in her, more than what her body would normally produce. So you're giving her some of yours. And then as a guy, you can, like you were saying, Scobe, you can sense when a woman is more aroused. Like she doesn't have to say any words. It's just complete nonverbal. Like you can feel her body under you, and then you're more aroused by her arousal.
I noticed also too that with younger women, you can go longer in your sexual experience. Older women, they want you to hurry up and get the fuck off.
Or they tap out.
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
They
A
tap
lot
out.
of them. Yeah.
So yeah, kissing is literally a way to get a woman to be more turned on than she normally would be. So
So what's all this stuff, Ted and Mr. Knox, about a man just touching on her a certain way that you know that's getting her aroused, getting her in a position to where you know what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say, that make her wet and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
If I'm making any kind of sense to you.
some women like to be touched in different areas, but their nipples are definitely what they call an erogenous zone, which will turn her on?
I've been with a few, maybe one or two women that used to like to make, for me to kiss their nipples and make them come just by doing that.
Yep, yep,
We were in our 20s then.
yep,
We were young.
yep. Absolute turn on. Absolutely. So it seems like the younger women have won. I asked who's better in bed, older or younger women. It seems like I think older women they got about 2 or 3 guys, but mostly everyone is staying younger. So it seems like hands down the younger women got it.
Just the moan alone, like, you know, just that, like
The moan alone.
the way she stares at you is different. I'm talking about the comparison of 2 women that are really into you. Like, I'm not saying like the older woman is writing you off and it's just a sexually Asian. Like, let's say the older woman is really, really into you, and the younger one is really, really into you. Even that concept is 2 different things.
Oh, no question.
And the youthful one is a more enjoyable thing as far as sex is concerned.
Yeah, no question.
Definitely, no doubt.
When she wants to see, like when you call your young joint, and she, like, you know, and she wants to see, it's just y'all about to make me call some females up that I haven't spoken to. But hey, yo, check the flip side out. These women aren't young anymore. But I want to reflect on the time, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yo, you remember another thing I noticed, like when it came to like and this may be me. This might not be the older woman, like I said previously. This may be me. It's hard for me to have like random, like sex in random places with older women. Like my arousal doesn't get that high.
Wow.
Yeah, like with the older one, I don't want to do it in the car. I want to take them home. But the young one, the energy is like, I don't want to wait for it.
Right. Yeah, I get some DMs from older women saying I did bad PR.
That may be more my fault than the older woman's fault, though.
No, you're fine. That was look. This is the conversation. This is we have one woman in the chat, so she's listening.
Yeah, I know she's tired of my shit. She probably saying, you ain't had none of me yet. You know how women are with their sexual egos.
Regardless of this, right? I don't know if this guy is still in IG. Well, his big thing was older women know what they want, younger women don't. Sometimes exploring can be better than someone who has it in stone. Like, this is the only way I do
They know what they want in what fashion.
They have experience and they know what they want and don't want. So he didn't give any other context besides that. But he was also saying that older women become fun when they're random. So
Exactly. You can't. It ain't nothing new under the sun with her. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, go, babe. You can pretty much mold a young chick into what you want her to be, Ted, as far as private bedroom stuff. At least that's what I've been told now. But I just digress, man. The older women, like you and Mr. Knox say, y'all probably more skilled in this area than me, cause I ain't, I'm not doing nothing to you.
All right, let me
'Cause like Mr. Knox said, I'm scared of the energy transfer. So I'm monk mode for right now.
let
Yeah,
me
You know,
yeah, I'm in a fake monk mode. That's what I say, but yeah, I've been breaking that. Yeah, I'm in monk mode, but I've been messing up. Listen, I want to say this though, like there's this thing where like I mean, Ted, you may be more familiar with this and be able to explain it textbook fashion or even break it down deeper than I can. This is what I will give older women. After I ejaculate, they're more cooler to be around. The young girl's kind of annoying, you know. The
Okay.
older girl, she gets a rag for me. You know, the shower water's running.
It was a routine.
I no, she knows what the fuck. She knows what she's doing.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? And she's more, but this would be going outside of the lines of sex. And that's what she blows the young girl out. Just to be honest, man, like that's the areas where she can edge the young girl.
Hmm.
With the levels, and it's time to be mental and house duties and just read my energy. Whether it's time to be talking, the young girl's gonna like, oh chill, I just release like, oh. So I'm gonna give the older woman this, and she knows. Sometimes I don't want to be touched after sex. I don't know if you guys get that feeling sometimes, even with somebody I like,
Yeah, a lot of guys are like that.
even somebody I'm in love. Sometimes I don't. This particular session, I don't. I'm still enjoying it without you this time though. I'm still in it. Don't touch. Stop talking. And the young girl will be going, oh, I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about. So this, like, oh man. So what you about to do, shorty? Where the older girl, she knows to play it in the background, and the older woman, she'll read your energy on how she's gonna proceed after the session, how to go. The younger woman won't have any idea. She's just coming at you with her energy full fledged,
That
however she feels.
that's a good education for both sides of the fence, older and younger.
Yeah, but it would be after and I mean that's where she has the advantage at. It's not. I don't think they have with the sexual advantage. They might be more skilled, but it's that transference that can't be fake, can't be mimicked, and it can't be learned. It's given, and she's had it at one time, and it goes away, and it's called youthful energy.
Good. Any thoughts, Anthony?
there's really not too much else to say. I mean, he's pretty much elaborated on it. Uh, I can't add nothing else to that.
Okay. Let's go over there. I'm gonna ask you one question that we're going to get ready to close out. So, for you, with the older woman, is she feel any resistance, or is she willing to follow your lead? And
Hold
if
on,
we put it
hold
back,
on, Chad. Somebody's got like a fan, air conditioner, or something that's taking you in and out. If y'all could mute if they're not speaking,
it's
'cause I'm having trouble hearing Ted. All
all
right,
right.
say it again, Ted.
All right, good, good. All right, perfect. So, with an older woman, do you feel like sometimes there might be some resistance, or is she more willing to follow your lead? Like I was describing, like salsa dancing.
I can't say that. I think that varies. I think that's more individual. And as you ask the question, I'm trying to think because I think that's more of an individual submission thing.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. I think more so the youthful girl will be the more submissive one, more so generally. But I can't. That for me, that's more of an individual thing, because I've had a lot of older women that they're trying to see what I could do. The floor is yours. What
Okay.
you want to? You gonna spank me, slap me? Like, what are we doing? Not that they say that, but their body language is, "I'm yours." They have that. That exists in the older women. That does. So I'm not gonna say that I won't be able to come to a decision on that just based on youth and age, because I've. But if I had to pick one who's going to be more sexually open, I mean, you could end up with the young girl who's insecure, who's too shy to do things, and you'll be sexually limited. Let's be honest. And it's like the older girl, like ain't nothing I ain't seen before. Do what you gotta do, man. Where you want to put it at, when you want to take it out. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So I can't I can't pick the youth over the aged woman or not.
All
That
right.
may be more of an individual thing.
Fair enough. Any last words, man? Final thoughts? Take away from this conversation?
I think he's talking to you guys, brothers.
I'm talking to you right
Oh,
now.
me?
Yes.
I'm running with the youth all day, and it's just necessary. And sometimes the youthful energy is too much sometimes, but it's always needed. It's like medicine. It's like medicine. And the advantage, as I said before, the advantage of the older woman, I'm not going to just count them out and write them off like they don't have any sexual value. They do. In a polygamous situation, she'd be teaching my younger girl, with the energy and the explosion, the skills that she's learned along the way. And that's how we'll make this work out and work for both of them. And it'll be for her to explore and live her youth through this young girl with me, and we can be a happy family. We can make this work. See, the thing is, with the younger girl, I'm 35 now too, by the way. Um, I didn't really value this so much when I was younger. It didn't mean much to me. I actually, in a lot of ways, had more fun with the older girls when I was younger, because they had skill sets that I wasn't used to. But as time went on, the value of the younger girls went up as I aged, and the value of the older girls sexually, had went down. So I'd say there's pros and cons to both, but ultimately the youthful woman wins, because ain't no reversing the clock. And it's two people that's undefeated: Floyd Mayweather and Father Time. That's all. That's all I got.
All right. Perfect, man. Thank you. Thank you. Anthony, country boy, final thoughts, takeaways.
Well, hands down to like Scope Bay said, you can't reverse that age. So once you got it, if she feeling you and she digging you like that, like he say, yeah, you need to take full advantage of that youthful thing and say. That's how I look at it. But at the same time, I wouldn't dare, just write them old ladies off either.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And Anthony, final words, last thoughts, takeaways from this conversation.
Sexual, well, I'll go with the younger women. Just for sexually, and in relationship wise, younger women are they're easier to mold.
Okay. Yeah, I would say they're more open to experiencing themselves. Uh, an older woman who has had she's had good experiences. Let's say she just had one husband, he died, or that kind of situation, and had a great relationship. She's probably more receptive to experiencing things and has less negative preconceived notions. So, a younger woman is more open to experiencing herself and her body. Like for her, there's no limit, and not just about coming, just the whole sexual experience. And you guys already know sex that starts before the bedroom. So um, I think a younger woman is much more open to the whole bonding, everything that comes with sex in and out of the bedroom, bonding, knowing yourself, getting to know the other person, the guy she's with, and I think that just adds to the intimacy, and perhaps a younger woman is more willing to be vulnerable and trust the guy that she's with. Um, to take her somewhere she hasn't been before, and that just whole thing, even as a man going through that is that you could rewarding is the wrong word, but it's the best word I can come up with, because as a man you do want to take care of the woman you're with. You do want her to feel cared for. If you're going to be having that kind of experience and knowing that she trusts you and allows herself to experience whatever's happening between the two of you, that can be pretty hot. So, what we got with young women? First. Okay. John 23. Good to see you in the house. Alexander, good to see you. Good to see you. All right. So look, hey man, Anthony, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a long time, man. You came at a one of these real politically incorrect. Probably not too many guys discuss this publicly. Or probably not even supposed to say it. Yeah, older women seem to believe they have the advantage over younger women, and I'm going to even add, especially a younger woman who's smart, she's intelligent. It's really difficult for an older woman to edge out an attractive, intelligent younger woman. A lot of older women, well, I'm older and I have experience, and as we were saying, sometimes that experience kind of has her put her own self in a box, sexually and even non-sexually, which kind of limits where the relationship can go. And that's why I was just saying a younger woman may be more open for exploration in and out of the bedroom, which creates a much greater sense of intimacy. So and because she's younger, so an older woman, if she has more experience, her experiences were wrong or bad, right? So she's bringing that with you. You really don't want that. The younger woman doesn't have that, and she's able to learn anything that the older woman learns. So I think a lot of older women underestimate how powerful and satisfying the woman is willing to develop and learn. So I think that gets missed in a lot of older younger women. This conversation may be an example of why so many women shouldn't put men off until they get older, because the odds are not in their favor. And I'll stop there. Good to see you, Anthony. Love hearing your thoughts. Maybe we can do another show about polygamy. Really want that.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, did you hear what I said about doing a show on polygamy?
Doing a show on polygamy?
Maybe we should do one, and you can educate us on that, man. Like, on a deeper level, on on a regular Monday, day to day, and a lot of guys talk about how they want, but I don't think they really what's involved.
Yeah, I'd be open to doing it. I've never been in a polygamous relationship, but I could elaborate on what I've seen and what I've been told and what I've been taught.
Cool.
I've never been in one myself. I came close to it though.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, have a good weekend, man. I'll be back on Sunday for Straight Talk. Thanks for joining me, and have a great weekend, everyone. Take care. Good night. Bye.
Good night.